Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to channel today. We're going to go for a run-in ride on this Classic 350 Reborn, this new one I've just picked up. So what I was going to say, we'll go for a bit of a lap around the town, tell you a few things about the bike. I'm going to put up a fair bit of other stuff on it, on the accessories fitted, tell you a bit what I know about these particular bikes and the 350s, because I've got both of those, plus I've got the Hunter too, so I've got three of them. And you might want to come back and sort of see what I think about the comparison between all the bikes. So apart from that, we'll get on this bike now. I've already given it a couple of minute warm up there, because from a new bike, or any bike, especially Enfields, you want to give them that pre-warm up for a couple of minutes before you get on the bike and ride it out. Another good tip would be, from scratch on one of these bikes, would be only take it out 10 or 15 kilometres, something like that, around town, riding through the gears, bring it back, let it do a total cool down, leave it a few hours or the next day, and then get on and riding again. Following that principle, I found that when I've done that, I've had a good run out of the bikes. When I don't do that, not so good. One good thing about these new bikes, in case you're wondering, these new J-Motors are really well put together, so you know, they tolerate a lot more than the old bikes. So apart from that, let's get on it. And if you're a new person or a new rider, or you got this idea you're going to buy yourself an Enfield and you want to know about the bike, well, come back to the channel and I can sort of tell you quite a bit about them. So let's get on this one. It's a red chrome. So we're on the bike now, we're ready to kick over, swing on the key. We do a sweep of the dial here, so everything's all right. Once I click the button, you'll feel idiot lights go out, and the only one to stay on is the ABS brake, and like it'll stay on at about 8 kilometres an hour. Now, one thing about these Enfields, whether it's a Classic 350 or 500, they've got a bit of weight presence. So these ones weigh in at 195 kilos, so they're not light, and they've got a fairly heavy clutch and a 31-inch seat height. So apart from that, I think we'll go this way today. And what I actually like about the Classic 350 is it's got a more relaxed riding position compared to, like, when you get on the Hunter, for example. It's more a lean forward aggressive stance to get on it, where this is just more relaxed. And if you want something really more relaxed, you just get on the Meteor apparently, but I've never been on the Meteor, so I can't really comment on that one. But that aside, well, a little bit busy on this intersection, usually no one. So we'll swing up this way and do a lap. You do notice on these Classics, or the Hunter especially, they've got a fairly heavy gear change on them. Like it's the clutch itself, I mean, is like a heavy clutch, but it's just something you get used to. You'll also notice that the braking from scratch isn't all that hot either, because it's sort of a dead woody feel on these brakes. But don't be concerned about that at all, because the more you put the kilometres on the bike, the better you'll find the front disc will work. So for example, on my well, we'll get around here. On the other Classic, the brakes started off dead woody to, you know, kick off when I bought it, and now they've really got good bite on them. So it's just something that takes a little while to do. Now, like I said, the riding position is around about 31 inches, or seat height I should say, and your Mickey Mouse style mirrors, they're not all that good to look out at. But on the other bike I fitted touring mirrors, and they are really good. Really good. They're just not good, really good. But you know, they're not cheap. They cost you I think a couple $100 a set to buy those. But on these new bikes, especially Enfields, I like to just take them out, run them around like 10 or 15 kilometres. This bike's done 22 k's now, and I've been out on it twice, let it cool down, run out again, and in most cases I only just use it first, second and third gear around town on the run in, and then if it's a good flat area, I'll run it up the fourth to 50 kilometres an hour. like so now. It's in fourth, and it'll just run along like that. But if I get to any rises or anything like that, I just drop back to third. So it's a good idea when you're doing it to do your running around town. Don't abuse them, and I think long term you'll pay the price. Now the balance of the bike is really good. You know, you're looking at 195 kilos, and this bike could be let's say 99% metal, and it's got let's say 99.5, and the only plastic on this is around the side covers. The side covers, they're plastic housings, and metal box lids over the top of them, sort of thing. So apart from that and the chain guard, you know, everything else is good. 2 years separate this particular bike from my Halcyon Grey, and in the old days, I mean, every model that come out, even though they look the same, Enfield would try to improve them and just done little minor things to them, and sometimes you'd get, I don't know, 10 or 15 changes from one bike to another. Even though they look the same, they've just changed minor things. But I was looking over my Halcyon Grey, and I couldn't notice one thing they've done to this bike. So where Enfield was constantly trying to improve them after they brought out the model, they must be 100% satisfied how they're going at the moment, and no reason to touch anything. Just going through that roundabout there, this bike swings through that roundabout with absolutely no effort whatsoever, and the ride in stock is not too bad either. You know, like, these don't come with any fancy tyres, like they're not a high well-known brand called Seat, but honestly I'd give those Seat tyres a fair bloody flogging out through some of the dirt roads, hill climbing and things like that, and I've never had an issue. Now if you were saying what's the prices on these bikes, and what do they come in? Well, they come in about 4 different variants. So you've got the chromes, they're the top of the line models, they're about at $8,800 Australian. So they're sitting up the top of the ladder. And one thing I'll point out, it doesn't matter whether you buy the cheaper one for $8,000 like the Halcyon Grey, or go up to the chromes and pay the extra premium to get chrome. The fact is, the bikes have got all the same running gear. So here in Australia, you know, like these bikes, like I said, 8.8 for the chromes, 8,000 for the base colour ones, and the other bike's the base colour, and I really like that bike. So it's a really nice colour, that Halcyon Grey. So after the Halcyon Grey, they're $8,000. They go to the Signals version. They're about 8.3. They make them in 2 colours. I had a green one of those, and you know, they're all right too. Then you go what they call the darks, and with the darks you get blacked out motor, exhaust, and you also get the alloy wheels with tubeless tyres. Now, you know, some people like this idea of you know, the idea of the alloy and tubeless, because, you know, you've got no worries about, or not as much bigger worries you get a punch or anything like that. But I actually, in the Halcyon Grey, I ran slime in that all the time, slime for tube tyres, and I don't know, may have been lucky, but so far no issues. So the riding position, as you'll see here by the camera angle, nice and comfortable, you know, like a little bit of a bend in the elbows. I can see how the mirrors all right, a little bit of shake in the mirrors, but these are chatty cheap mirrors compared to when I put the Touring ones on. They were rock steady. The instrumentation was pretty simple. You know, you just got your speedo in this section here, a few idiot lights, down below it a built-in fuel gauge, which I don't know about now, but in the old days they weren't too accurate. They probably haven't improved it. And there was also that problem with the wonky speedo freezing. Now I don't know if that's been improved too. So they've had 2 years to improve that. So it may be something that by now, you know, things are really good in that line. But as I get more into riding it around and out testing it, I'll get a better idea. What I do like about the Classic 350 Reborn and I'll go in later on why they call this a reborn compared to the other one, but that'll be in another clip because I've had the other ones too, so I can compare. So as far as that goes, you know, the exhaust note's not bad on this reborn, and one thing, that it's got good throttle response too, but the throttle response is nowhere near as good as what's on the Hunter. The Hunter is really in your face, lean forward sort of bike, get up and go, and really nippy on those 17-inch wheels, and it's got a better mid-range tune. So if you look at all that side and you say to yourself, oh, I want something a little bit sporty and with a bit more go, well, the Hunter's the bike for you. This is more just for the laid-back, easy rider approach. Oh, not as easy rider as the Amedia, but a more easy ride approach to riding the bike. And I was just checking the brakes then as I went around that corner, and you could tell that they are a little bit dead or woody, but like I said, they'll pick up in that line, and the more you put up on it, the better it'll be. But overall, these are really nice bikes to ride. They're comfortable. They, you know, once you get them running, you'll be able to get out on the road and run along the straights, 100 kilometres an hour. You can go a little bit faster, I suppose, if you want to, but I really think 100's enough for them. And I think their top speed, I know they'll do 110 fairly easy if you're on flat, and I don't think they do much more. I'd say 120 would pull them up. I've never actually tried it, but I've never been in that big a hurry, or I get on a bit quicker bike. But if you ask me which was a quicker bike between this and Hunter 350, the Hunter 350 is usually a lot quicker bike on pickup. You know, you can get onto it straight away and say, geez, what have they got on this? It's turbo. It just feels that much different to a classic 350. But the thing is, I find with the Hunter, and it's that more aggressive riding position, harder ride. I just don't like them as much as what I do a classic. Like the classic's the, I don't know, the lazy guy's bike to just ride around and enjoy it. But one thing I will say about M-Wheels now, they make a lot better bike than what they used to. So if you're in the fence and you're thinking, oh, what are my chances of going out there, it's going to break down, or I'm going to have to call roadside assist or anything like that. Well, once upon a time you wouldn't have been disappointed if you bought one, because you would have got that chance. But I found the new 350s or J-series platform bikes that good that they are really 100% reliable, and that's why I keep coming back and buying them, because they are that good. I really reckon they're hard to beat for the money involved. And like I said, you don't have to go out and buy a chrome, you can just settle for the Halcyons, because I've got absolutely no complaint at all about the Halcyon, and I reckon it's one of the best bargain classic looking bikes out there for, in Australia, 8,000 right away, no more to pay. And I've had so much fun on that Halcyon Grey, and if you go back through my history, you'll see where I've had it and the roads I've had it on, and I've done everything on stock, everything stock, no worked motors or exhausts or anything like that. I did swap over the suspension once, the rear suspension, to 500 shocks, but the running gear, they're all totally normal. And while I'm at it too, if anyone gets here saying to you now, oh, those end wheels, they shake and fall to pieces, not the case. They may have done it once, but these new ones are almost like Jap quality. They're that good that you can get on one if you do the right thing, and the right thing would be you have got to run these bikes in you've got to do the right thing and run these bikes in, and more importantly, don't overheat them, cause yourself an issue that way. And if you do the right thing by one of these bikes, I'm sure you'll have many miles or kilometres of great riding, and you'll have no trouble whatsoever, and you'll be very happy with the bike. But I can only talk on my personal experience, and that's how I feel about the bike. They are really good. The riding position, or the So they call a riding triangle on this one. It's really good. Your legs are almost straight down below you. They're comfortable. You can do a bit of distance on them. Few people out walking their dogs in that today. The gear shift, really nice and positive. No false neutrals. The back brake seems to have a little bit more bite. I was just trying it there in the front. When you buy these bikes, I suppose I better mention, these are actually fuel injected. They're dual channel ABS, and it's non-switchable, so you got ABS dual channel and that's it. I don't mind the chrome now I bought. Like, at first I was undecided whether or not I should have went for it, because, you know, chrome bikes are more for people who like cleaning the bikes, and that hasn't been one of my favourites. But you know, I'll probably just won't be able to ride it on dirt, and I'll just have to settle for the other one to ride on dirt, where I can give it a workout and it doesn't matter. And you know the old saying, treat them mean and keep them keen. Well, I've given that Halcyon some really mean I've really given some really mean runs. So you couldn't say I've been nice to that bike, and it's never ever let me down, never. What a bloody great bike. There's no risk. Like, when you can go out and think to yourself, you know, you're confident you can go anywhere you want to, and you know, you can get there and start them and they won't cause you any issues, or you'll have trouble out there. It's really a good feeling, and it's even a better feeling when you're on a bike that you really love being on. So you can be on a bike you love being on, but it could be outright heap of shit. So when you get to that stage, you feel good in the mind, but not too good on what you're riding. So, but this particular bike, you know, you can get out there, go wherever you want to, come back, and you know, you'd be pretty happy overall with the experience. The fit and finish on these bikes is really good too, because I found that you know, compared to the old days when I used to have to come back and tighten everything up, you don't have to do that anymore. Even the chains on them now are a lot better quality. There's just no comparison. The chains on the new 350s they put on them compared to the old days. These chains, I think in Halcyon I've only ever adjusted it twice. And you know, that's not much at all for a bike. Yeah, about twice I think it was. And when I first got the 350 or the Halcyon Grey 2 years ago, that was before I bought the other, the Signals version, or the Hunter. I was sort of a bit obsessed with giving them oil changes, or the end wheels an oil change at, I think it was roughly 100, 300 and 500 kilometres, because I used to like cleaning the motors out, because where they were made there, they were sort of a little bit on the, you know, they weren't really clean, the earlier models in the motor. But what I found out since I got onto these J motors is that they're such a clean motor, you know, no worries about the oil change. I bet when I do the oil change on this one at 500 kilometres, I'm going to just go distance. Sure, the oil might have a bit of colour in it, but the fact is that there won't be any rubbish or swath or anything like that mixed up within it, you know, to make it look like it was assembled in, I don't know, probably assembled in my yard. So as far as that goes, if you ask me now, if I'm going to have any problems with a new end wheel, what am I liable to have? Well, the only thing you may have, and I don't know if it's improved, and I mentioned it earlier, is they have a habit in a sticky speedo on the earlier models. I don't know if that's been rectified. They've had 2 years to do it, but if they've got that out of the way, that would be the main thing that I could only pick as something what it is, you know. So, which is pretty good when you can only pick a speedo as an issue on the bike, and like I said, it might be rectified now. So between that and the other thing is the fuel gauge isn't too accurate either. So if you look at both those, the main part, the engine, gearbox, clutch, you know, all those 10 out of 10, really good. No issues there at all. So I don't think there's not much I can tell you more about it now, around town run now, because see, like I've only done 30 kilometres. I can't get out there and ride this hard just for the sake of showing you how well it runs around town, and I actually owned the bike and paid the money for it, because it's all right if I was doing test rides, but you know, it'd be a bit stupid if I got out here and give it a workout through the gears just to satisfy your curiosity how it goes. Won't help me much. All I'll be doing is buying another bike. So looking at it that way, as I run up the kilometres and run it in, I'll give it a bit of a run then, and more important, it's important to run them in properly, and I've learnt the hard way by not doing it quite a few times. So keep that in mind. If you're on the fence and you're after a Classic 350 reborn, come back to the channel, see what you can learn. You must be able to learn something, because I haven't had the amount of classics I've had for no reason whatsoever. I know a little bit about them. Look at this nice avenue of trees along here now. They got their leaves on them, and look how good it looks. I reckon this bike too will take a really nice drone shot, so later on when I run her in, I can get out on the open road. I'll take it out there and give her a bit of a workout there. So once again, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this little bit of a round town ride. We'll get serious as we go through, and I'll whip up quite a few clips on this bike on different things, and hopefully you'll find it interesting and you want to come back and have a look. Apart from that, see I've out here now, and you've been with me on the full ride, and already you can smell the heat build up on that motor. So that's why I only run it, you know, 15 or so kilometres first, especially for the first 100 or two, while everything's sort of calming down, and you can just smell the bike motor is hot. And I wasn't really riding hard or anything like that. That's so it's important you don't get on there and say, oh well, I'm going to get on my knees and ride at 100 kilometres, and you might be riding at 100 kilometres. I don't know if you'll pay the price further down the track, but I wouldn't do it. So let's say thanks for tuning in again. Hope to see you again. If you want to sub, you can do that too. It's up to you. So cheers for now.